All right, E3 fans, we are at weirdly one of my favorite booths of E3 that I've never been to, the Video Game History Museum. All around us, we're surrounded by memorabilia from gaming's 30, 40, 80 years of gaming history.
80 years of video games,
history. And I love that they have old CRT televisions
yes.
with the old consoles hooked up. Brett, what is this?
So we were going to start just all these consoles on display. The first one over here is a Super Nintendo, Super NES, SNES. You would call it a SNES, and that's incorrect. And everyone else who calls it a SNES is kind of stupid and wrong.
Why?
Because it's dumb.
One
anyway,
syllable.
Super Mario All-Stars is in there. I believe that came out in '93. It's got a collection with Mario Lost Levels on it, which didn't come out in the U.S. until this. I broke it. Let's move on.
Andy broke it. We're going to move on. We're going to move on over to the, it's the Dreamcast.
This is the black Dreamcast, which, off the top of my head, I think the black one was the sports bundle that came out like 2000 or 2002. Yeah. And these clear smoke controllers that are clear instead of solid.
Children, this is where iPods used to go. No, these were VMUs. They're visual memory cards that weren't very popular.
I think this is Power Stone in it. One of Capcom's like big franchises for exactly 2 years, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, it should come back. It's like Smash Brothers with characters you don't recognize.
Yeah. Next up. Sorry. We're chasing people away. I apologize.
Our booth is actually right next to us, and the whole day I've been hearing the sound of Mario Kart item things going off. Here's the culprit.
This is part of the Funtastic line of N64s. It's not a regular color. It's clear purplish indigo blue, part of the grape, watermelon, jungle greens, fire, smoke. This whole line of N64s, they called Funtastic. Stop playing.
I was not playing.
Mario Kart 64, which I believe came out in February of '97, if I'm not mistaken.
And I love it. Look at that, kids. A hidden Z trigger. Hidden Z trigger right there.
The useless trident that is the N64 controller.
Beautiful, right?
And the D-pad that I think anytime you did hold it, it felt awkward because you were not used to holding a D-pad.
It's like a retarded boomerang or a set of dragon teeth. Right there. See? See what I'm saying?
Next.
Right, next.
So we're rounding the corner, rounding the corner, rounding the corner.
Oh, God. I can't think of a system I dislike or am more indifferent to than the TurboGrafx 16.
Interesting because the start button says run instead of start.
Run. What the hell is this thing?
That's the multi-tap. It actually had a 5-player multi-tap before. Well, I guess it wasn't before the NES
satellite. So it had
satellite.
one controller port. Only rich kids in my neighborhood had this, who I did not like.
It used weird game cards that I don't want to take out, but Devil Crush is probably one of the best games.
Yeah.
It's a pinball game. It's very cool.
Absolutely.
TG16 became a Turbo Duo later with CD-ROMs. One of the first CD-ROM game machines ever.
Yeah.
And then most of these games are on the Virtual Console, and they're the ones you're not buying anyway, so...
They're no longer worth playing.
Yes, let's go.
This is my favorite system.
Wait, you walked by the Pioneer Laser Active thing.
The Pioneer Laser Active. Anyway.
Oh, come on.
We have...
You know what a Saturn
Panzer
is?
Dragoon running on a Saturn with both the original Saturn controller
and the
dinner
Knights
controller. And I had never played. I just played this a second ago with the analog stick. I'd never done that before. And I'm like, I want to use a D-pad and it won't work. I forgot there's a switch. there's the D-pad.
Wait, how do you
analog.
say it? How do you say Panzer Dragoon?
Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon.
Pan-seared P-snaps.
Pan-seared P-snaps. We can move on. I have never heard of this system.
That is the original PlayStation released
I've never
on
heard of this system.
September 9th, 1995. It was a Saturday. Just so you know. And the original... Wait, they don't have the original controllers. These are the first DualShock that came out like a year or two into the PlayStation. The original didn't have either of these sticks on it.
Without these, they feel very bare when you pick them up now. I like that the PlayStations are succumbing to the yellowing that the Super Nintendos have taken on. Look at that.
I guess this is Street Fighter EX that's on here. So
Street Fighter EX. What I want to play is the Skull of
By the way, there's the pamphlet board I just found.
Video game history. You're going to like the last console we're going to look at.
Oh, yeah. So the last one.
The last console. Oh, look at that.
The original Sega Genesis, which one of the greatest things about this is the headphone button. It has its own
headphone button.
Headphone jack with headphone volume built into the console.
Amazing.
But then they've also got Toe Jam and Earl, which is one of my favorite
Toe Jam and Earl,
games.
one of the most underrated. It's rated just fine.
It's also,
Everybody loves it.
I think maybe one of the only or last consoles that put on the console high-definition graphics.
High definition.
They wrote it on the machine, which would never bite it in the ass, ever.
Yes, high definition. I believe it's 50p. I don't know the resolution.
Maybe less than that.
Somewhere around 50p. Well, that's all the consoles we have.
So there is something back here I want to go to.
Okay,
that's really weird. I actually...
Remember I was talking about the yellowing of the Nintendo products? There we go. That's when oxygen, too much oxygen over time goes into the plastic.
Now this
Right?
thing, I have no clue what this even is.
Wow.
But it has a holster for the NES Zapper. The MA2 of Japan. I don't know. It plays.
That
It
is
says
incredible.
Famicom box, yet it's all in English. But Famicom is NES in Japan.
That is incredible.
This is all like it's like a military. Like it's
Yeah.
metal. It's fucking metal.
Yes, this survived Hiroshima. That's how old it is.
Jesus Christ.
yes,
Original
we
NES.
all know the Power Glove.
Yes, it's so bad.
It's very bad, and we have. We just
Oh,
want to
yes.
see this. We should see that. The Nintendo.
It's actually not yellowed really at all.
No, not
kinda
really,
nice.
but it's getting there.
Kinda nice.
What do you want to see, Rob?
Finally, Rob.
Rob.
But there's one sitting on my
Hi,
desk,
friend.
so we can shoot him
Hi, my
anytime.
friend. And
Original
this is how
Famicom.
This is how the NES looks in Japan, or looked in
Yes,
Japan.
and it had actually controller slots on it. So when you were done with the controllers, you wouldn't leave them on the floor. You would put them in these little
What happened to
these
that?
handy slots. Well, we never had that, so we were not raised with it.
This is my favorite because I'd never seen this peripheral. You can't play properly without
Oh my
the
God.
Nintendo Speedboard, which takes out the whole messy thumb situation. You can just tap them
Wow.
like they're keys at a keyboard. There you go, Chris. I'm gonna show you too. Awesome.
So this actually, I'd never heard of either, but it's a combination of the Famicom and the Famicom Disk System, which is actually what like Kid Icarus, Metroid, and the original Zelda, I think, or maybe Zelda 2.
Maybe.
I
you're talking to the wrong guy.
shouldn't be guessing because that's going to bite me in the ass. But it combined those two things into one machine that I've never seen before. So the fact that this is here is really interesting. And also, I mean, that's what the museum is supposed to be anyway.
Yeah.
And I think they're actually trying to get a physical store, like a physical museum you could go and visit to actually keep this and share this so it doesn't disappear.
Sure are. I should see if they have a website.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess the last thing we'll do, zip back around that way and look at this Sega stuff really quick. Walking.
Get behind me. Sorry, guys.
So this is
Oh my God.
the original Master System, which is one of the weirdest, most oddly shaped things I've ever. It's like these hard angles and then all this, like a diagram of how the machine is supposed to work.
And this is how big arcades were at the time. All you had to do was say it on a box. What does that mean? Arcade? Look at that box art. Isn't that beautiful?
And this is apparently a demo kiosk for the Master
And I had to
System.
look this up. This is actually great baseball. It's not just Japanese English. It's part of the Great Sports Series.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
also
yeah.
great football and great soccer and great box art. What the fuck? Oh, this is the jukebox.
Yeah, you would push a different button to select different game in a retail store.
You would put all your game
So-
cartridges in here and select which one you wanted. I'm feeling like Kid Nicky or something.
Yes,
and-
whoever was rich enough to have this
my God.
is embarrassed.
I'm going to say that's the worst game controller of all time.
wow.
Is this the worst game controller of all time?
I'm sure there's a nice peripheral that uses it, or a nice game that uses it. All right, let's move on to the Sega CD.
Sega
so this
Channel.
is the Sega Genesis Model 2. Came out after, I think around 93 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact date, maybe 94.
It features both a redesigned Genesis and a Sega CD.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Genesis actually disconnects
Yeah.
from this. I don't want to, like, take it out, but that's a Model 2 Sega CD as well. The original stacked on top of each other. Yeah, wow,
That's broken.
that might be broken. Moving on.
The 32X.
32X.
This is Sega's ultimate, the Triforce of Sega.
Yeah, you put this on here and...
Look
and
at
then
that.
if you put this on the old Sega CD, it would stack, and then it would be like this tall, and then you put a Game Genie in it, and then you put an Electronic Arts game on top of that, and it's literally this tall, like 2 feet. And that's your
amazing.
console.
Well, are we going to wrap up, or do we
take
have to
the
talk about
32X.
this motherfucking thing?
Well, it's the most
no.
embarrassing failure ever. So
Oh, no.
with 2 D-pads, Virtual Boy.
D-pads. I do like the back buttons on the controller. I love those.
Yeah. So Saturn again, and then
Oh my God! Another rich kid system.
a fucking-
$700 when it came
Yeah.
out. Quiet down,
It was
PS3
strange. It was
people.
Trip Hawkins, founder, one of the main people behind EA in the
EA.
early days, wanted to launch a console. So you get Panasonic 3DO, a Sanyo 3DO, and all these. He licensed the hardware. So it wasn't like Sega made one console. It was like as if Sega or Nintendo would license a console. And Panasonic could make an NES, and JVC could make an NES. So that was a mistake, and
That was a
clearly
mistake.
it didn't work. So
And that's all our consoles.
that's all our consoles. But you did want to point out, I thought,
That is the greatest box art
the
I've ever
greatest
seen.
box art of this Hulk game.
It just has just a little bit of the Incredible Hulk television show. I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
let's
yeah.
see if we can steal that before.
Quick animation thing.
Oh my
Ralph,
God!
Ralph
Games
Bakshi.
Radar fans. Custer's Revenge in the box.
Custer's Revenge.
The only game I can think of to officially be about rape.
Yes, officially. Can you say something animation related about the Ralph Bakshi,
Lord of the
Rings
Rings
game?
It was an unfinished trilogy
Yes.
that Rankin Bass ended up finishing. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think that might be the first Star Wars game
I think it might. It's the first game with the lightsaber in it. I do know that.
Yeah.
Because I had to look that up.
Oh, that was the History
tour.
Museum.
There's a hell of a lot more, but it would take forever.
Yeah,
so,
arcade machines, but we're console guys.
But that's the end of E3. Like, literally, the show floor is closing right now,
Yeah.
so we are walking out the door. But we just wanted to shoot this really quick, and I probably said some things that were incorrect. And just put in the comments, and I will read them and then tell you why I'm so sorry I didn't have my wiki out on me. So,
Bye, Brad.
bye, everybody.